There is a story, one that has been told across news reports, emergency rooms, and whispered conversations for decades. A mother lifts a car off her trapped child. A man holds up a collapsing wall long enough for his family to escape. A teenager pulls two adults from a burning wreck using nothing but sheer will and fury. These are not myths. These events have been documented, investigated, and confirmed. And every single time scientists try to explain them, they arrive at the same place. The human body, in a state of extreme rage or terror, is capable of something that has no right to exist under normal biological rules. But here is the question that almost nobody asks. Not just how it happens, but why? Why does anger, of all things, unlock something that is otherwise permanently sealed inside you? What is going on beneath the surface of your skin when rage takes hold? And what is the hidden price your body pays for that terrifying superpower? That is exactly what we are going to explore today. And I promise you, the answer is stranger, darker, and more fascinating than you ever imagined. Let us start with the moment it all begins. Your brain is not a single organ. It is a collection of systems that evolved at very different times, stacked on top of each other like geological layers. At the very center, the oldest part, sits a structure called the amygdala. It is roughly the size and shape of an almond, and its entire purpose is one thing: survival. The amygdala does not reason. It does not negotiate. It does not pause to consider whether the threat you are facing is real or imagined. The moment it detects danger, or something that looks like danger, it fires. And when the amygdala fires, everything changes. Within milliseconds, a signal shoots down to the hypothalamus, the command center of your autonomic nervous system. The hypothalamus does not waste time on subtleties. It does one thing immediately. It triggers your adrenal glands, two small structures that sit on top of your kidneys, to release a chemical cocktail directly into your bloodstream. That cocktail has one primary ingredient: adrenaline. And adrenaline is not a gentle molecule. Within seconds of entering your blood, adrenaline is rewriting the rules of how your body works. Your heart rate spikes, not doubles. We are talking about going from a resting rate of 70 beats per minute to over 180 in the space of a few heartbeats. Your blood vessels near your skin and digestive system constrict sharply because your body has made a decision. Blood is not going to be wasted on digestion or skin regulation right now. Every drop of blood is being rerouted to your muscles, to your lungs, to your brain. Your pupils dilate to let in more light. Your airways expand. Your liver releases stored glucose into your blood in a surge of instant fuel. And your perception of pain, it collapses. This is the part that matters most when we talk about superhuman strength. Pain is, at its core, a warning system. It exists to stop you from doing things that damage your body. But in a survival situation, your brain makes a cold calculation. The warning system is more dangerous than the damage, so it switches the system off. Adrenaline floods pain receptors and suppresses them. Endorphins and enkephalins, the body's natural opioids, surge at levels far beyond what any pharmaceutical drug could safely replicate. You become, in a very literal sense, temporarily immune to your own injury, and that changes everything about what your muscles can do. Here is something your body does in ordinary life that you would never suspect. It deliberately holds back, always. Under normal conditions, your brain sends signals to your muscles with a built-in limiter. Scientists estimate that in everyday life, most people are only using somewhere between 20 and 40% of the force their muscles are physically capable of generating. The rest is being intentionally suppressed by your own nervous system to protect you, because your muscles, tendons, and bones were not designed to handle sustained maximum force output. If you regularly used 100% of your muscular capacity, you would tear tendons, snap bones, and destroy joints at a catastrophic rate. The body knows this, so it keeps the lid on. But when rage or terror takes over, when the amygdala bypasses the rational brain entirely and goes directly to the emergency broadcast system, that lid comes off. The neural pathways that normally regulate and limit muscle recruitment get overridden. Your nervous system stops filtering the signal. It sends everything. In a state of extreme adrenaline surge, studies suggest the body can access somewhere between 60 and 80% of its maximum muscular output, possibly more in the most extreme documented cases. That is not double the normal force. That is triple. That is quadruple. Applied in a single moment of absolute desperation. A 130-pound woman who could never bench press 200 pounds in a gym can, in that state, apply enough upward force to lift a car frame. Not forever. Not even for very long. But for the 3 or 4 seconds it takes to save a life. Absolutely. And this is where things get deeply strange. Because there are documented cases studied by physicians and biomechanical engineers, where the person performing the feat did not realize until after the fact that they had fractured their own bones doing it. The ligaments in their hands tore. Hairline fractures appeared in their forearms and wrists from the forces involved, but they felt nothing, not during, not even for minutes or sometimes hours afterward. The pain came later, when the chemistry changed, when the adrenaline metabolized and the suppressant effect faded. And only then did the full weight of what they had done to their own body arrive. This is the hidden price of the superpower. Your body can access those reserves, but it was not designed to sustain them. The human musculoskeletal system evolved to handle the loads of an ordinary life, not the loads of a person accessing their full biological capacity in a single explosive event. Tendons take days to weeks to recover from the micro tears that happen under extreme load. Joints that absorb impacts at the limit of their tolerance develop inflammation. And the heart, the organ that is beating at 180 beats per minute while all of this is happening, is under extraordinary stress. Cases of acute heart failure and cardiac arrhythmias have been documented in connection with extreme adrenaline surges. Athletes who have experienced sudden cardiac events in high-stress moments have had the surge of endogenous adrenaline listed as a contributing factor. Your body can push itself past its normal limits, but the infrastructure was not built to handle it casually. And yet, and this is the part that genuinely haunts me, the biology does not care about the long-term consequences in that moment. Evolution did not optimize for longevity in the middle of a crisis. It optimized for survival. Get through the next 30 seconds. Figure out the rest later. That is exactly what rage is. At its biological core, it is a survival override. A system designed for moments when there is simply no time to be careful, measured, or restrained. But there is another dimension to this that science has only recently begun to map properly. And it has to do with focus. When adrenaline surges and rage takes hold, something unusual happens to attention. Under normal circumstances, human attention is diffuse. We are tracking multiple streams of information simultaneously: sound, peripheral vision, background thoughts, social signals. It is cognitively expensive, but it is also how we navigate a complex world safely. Rage collapses all of that. Researchers studying the phenomenon describe it as a narrowing of attentional field. Your brain, in a state of extreme arousal, essentially forces all of its available processing power onto a single target: the threat, the obstacle, the door you need to break through, or the object you need to lift. Everything else, background noise, peripheral distractions, even the internal voices that normally whisper doubt and caution, they get switched off. You are not distracted. You are not second-guessing. You are not calculating risk. You are purely, completely, terrifyingly focused. And that focus itself amplifies your physical output. In biomechanics, researchers have long observed that internal doubt, the mental friction of uncertainty, measurably reduces force output in muscle contractions. When subjects in laboratory studies were told they were attempting something beyond their ability, their actual peak force dropped compared to when they were told it was possible. The belief affects the biology. Confidence and focus at the neurological level change the quality of the nerve signals your brain sends to your muscles. In a rage state, That doubt does not exist. There is no negotiation with the obstacle. There is no part of your brain standing to the side and saying, maybe this is too heavy. The entire system is screaming one word, now. This is why the combination is so extraordinary. You have suppressed pain. You have overridden the normal muscular limiter. You have flooded the body with fuel and oxygen. You have eliminated attentional noise and internal doubt. And you have focused every available resource on a single explosive goal. That is not a human body under extraordinary circumstances. That is a machine operating on a different operating system entirely. Now, here is what you probably did not expect to hear. These mechanisms are not exclusive to moments of crisis. They are trainable. Partially. Elite athletes, military operators, and certain performers spend years learning to voluntarily access fragments of these states. Not the full biological override, which genuinely requires extreme threat to trigger, but the edges of it. Breathing techniques can stimulate portions of the sympathetic nervous system response. Certain visualization practices can prime the amygdala for heightened arousal. Cold exposure, controlled breath holds, and deliberate stress inoculation can recalibrate the threshold at which your body begins its emergency response. The body is listening to more than just external threats. It is listening to internal states, to patterns, to training. But none of those methods, not a single one, produces the full effect of genuine rage combined with genuine mortal stakes. Because the full system requires the full trigger. And the full trigger is a brain that genuinely believes you are out of time. This is perhaps the most important thing to understand about what rage does to the body. It is not magic. It is not mystical. It is biology doing exactly what it was designed to do, accessing capabilities that have always been there, that are always present inside every one of us, locked behind a wall that only extreme circumstances can fully breach. The strength was always in you. The fear, the fury, the desperate love for someone in danger, those are not the source of the power. They are the key. And the door has been there your entire life, waiting. So the next time you hear one of those stories, a parent, a stranger, an ordinary person doing something that should be physically impossible in the name of survival, understand what you are really hearing. You are hearing a body that stopped listening to its own limits. You are hearing what human beings are actually capable of, underneath all the careful, cautious, polite constraints that ordinary life demands of us. And somewhere, in every single person watching this right now, that same capacity exists, sealed, waiting, ready. The only question is what it would take to unlock it in you.